My name is Jeff Madron, and I just recently joined the board of directors of the Maureen Joseph Care and Support Foundation.
My name is Maureen Joseph, founder of Maureen Joseph Care and Support Foundation. And we have successfully worked through for over 12 years now. We keep growing, doing better. Maureen Joseph Care and Support Foundation is literally for taking care of people in the prison. The journey is still fresh, but we're getting to the point that prevent crime to some extent, especially starting with the young people.
I used to be a correctional officer, and I really got to saw the work that people inside that were incarcerated inside of prison, the work that they were doing on themselves, because they did not want them to have this story for their futures. Like, you know what? I could be better than this. This is just a chapter in my life. I could be better. I'm going to get out. I will get out of prison, and I will not return. I'm going to give myself better opportunities. And what I really took from that was that they will not, and they were not going to allow one mistake or these mistakes that they made to really define what they can do in the future. There's this, I want to really highlight, there's a show that I've watched many years ago where this well-known chef out in California used to be incarcerated, and then he learned how to cook while being incarcerated. And then once he got out, he went through a culinary program, became very successful as a chef in high-end restaurants, but then also became very successful in cable news networks due to not allowing his past to define his future. Now, did it take work? Absolutely. But he kept his head forward. He kept his eyes forward on, like, you know what, this is what my goal is. I'm not going to allow my past or what I did in the past to determine what I can do in the future. And he really set up some really great programs out in California to help the youth, help other people who are facing similar circumstances. Like, if you do get stuck and you do get into a position where you've done something where you may have to go into a jail, you may have to go into some type of prison or some type of correctional program, this does not have to define your future, and there's going to be opportunities. Take that time while you're in there to learn skills. Take that time while you're in there to learn about yourself, do the work on yourself, so that when you come out and you come out into the free world, you can be like, you know what? That was just a chapter that's closed, or that was just a book that was closed. Now I'm going to write a whole new book about myself. I'm going to write a book, and like, you know what? I'm not going to let these mistakes define what I was, who I was back then. I'm a new person. I'm a new identity, and I'm going to go out here and be successful just like anybody else. I'm going to determine my success, not by what my past was, but what I can do in the future.
Nice. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Our youth is really needing more support. People are needing more support, especially when we are so centric on social media and we see all these bad things that's happened, not just here in the United States, but globally.
Yeah.
Some of the challenges that our youth faces these days is the popularity of the social media apps.
Exactly.
And then they're like, okay, well, I want to be like this person, or like maybe their self-esteem was a little bit lower and they want to gain some popularity with a certain group of friends. I need something to either fuel my edge. I need something to fuel my desire. The popularity with the social media apps and how we're so in tune to it, the ease of access to knowledge. We have access with all this information with our devices, and we get this information and we're being fed this information and like, well, I want to be like that person.
I'm going to say I've not shared this story because I was just looking for the right day to talk about it. I had a friend back in college that was unjustly put in the prison. So this happened back home in Africa. So I didn't know about this till a couple of months. I was asking around. Someone told me that, see what happened, that he's in the prison right now. And in fact, he has served a couple of months. I didn't even know. So this is someone I knew back then in school. We were close.
Somebody you grew up with.
Yes. I got him there. He saw me. I told him, you're not going to serve 5 years here as long as I'm involved. He said, what do you mean? I said, you're not going to be here for 5 good years. You're leaving here soon. So he told me the story. I took that up as an assignment. Every other month, I would go there. I had to reach out to lawyers. I had to reach out to people I knew that could help. So I was doing that, and I was still praying for him. I had to get my mom involved. So we started praying. We took it as a family prayer point. Every night we were praying for this guy. It was a miracle. But while he was still there, I was going there. I was actually going to see the other people in the prison because I started having this passion, and I don't know how I feel. Like every birthday I have to celebrate with them then. I just want to come and hear their stories. The one that shocked me was a lady, a pregnant woman that came in there pregnant. She gave birth.
She gave birth
while serving. The child was already 6 years. I'm like, tell me how this child is going to grow up and become normal. If at that age, he's living, he's living in that kind of environment.
This is where
he's seeing abuse, he's seeing a whole lot of things. And that's the problem we're having with young people. Because I feel that if we have to catch them, if we have to prevent crime, we have to catch these young people from the early age. Parents have a whole lot of work to do. Rich, I heard what you said about peer pressure is one of the reasons that young people are getting into crime. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you the honest truth because they want to do something. Their friends have seen this friend doing this thing and like, okay, why don't I try this? It starts from a conversation, then a decision, and then they get into that crime. That's where it starts. And because if they're not guided from home, or if they're having issues internally, like you said, from home, then they're going to get into that, definitely.
That really brings up a great question I just thought of, and especially this question goes to parents. Are parents teaching their kids what the true repercussions are if they do such acts? Not teach repercussions like, hey, if you go to school and get good grades, in this ideology, like, okay, will you be successful? You go to college, all those things that they teach you. But like, okay, what is the true repercussions if you commit these acts? Is this something that's constantly having discussion? Like, you got to understand the repercussions of your actions because they will come back and haunt you, right?
Yeah.
And I question that. I question is like, as parents, is like, what exactly are they doing to teach the kids these are the repercussions of your actions?
I think parents are not doing their work because if you tell a child, this is this, if you do this, this is going to happen. If you tell them blank that these are consequences if you do this, you have to be blunt and tell this child, okay, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. If you do this, if you disobey me, then this is going to happen. And hold them accountable while they are still growing up. Don't put it down on the dust and say, okay, he's still a kid. Okay, let's just let it be. Don't worry, he's not going to do it next time. He's going to do it next time. He's going to keep doing it. And if you don't take it seriously, he will grow up with that mentality that, okay, even if I do anything, nothing is going to happen. The worst that will happen is my mom will just tell me, oh, don't do this. Oh, So the child takes it that, okay, nothing will happen. It's just the usual. And that's why you see these kids get into crime.
Okay, so you made a decision to have a child and bring it to this world. And now you got to own up to your decision and then do your part and bring that child up to proper standards to where they're just a contribution to human society.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they believe in, it's like, no, it's like the expectation should be just like be a contribution to society as best as you can with the talents and capabilities that you have. And we've seen where that's not happening so much. And it's sad because it's like you can only do so much with what you know. Yeah. And you learn from your environment. And as parents, it's like, what do we want that to be? Like Like, is this what we want for our kids? And it's sad that we don't see that more often, whereas kids get a better representation from their parents.
It takes a community to actually raise a child. That's from where I'm coming from in Africa. That's where we're brought up.
Takes a
So
village.
it takes a community. It takes a
It really-
village to. You don't see that a child is doing something wrong because it's not your child. You don't correct them. You see a child doing something, and you know, okay, this child, what he's doing is wrong. Okay, stop this. Don't do this. Come out from there. Don't. You let that child. You just keep quiet because it's not your child. So the child feels that, okay, since that love is not coming from people around, he feels like, okay, it's right. Maybe what I'm doing is right because no one was cautioned him about that. So I will literally say that generally every person, everyone has to come into play when it comes to raising a child. It's not just the responsibility of just the parents as well. Everyone has to also help, not just in school, not just even in church, anywhere. You see a child doing something wrong, don't be quiet, don't be silent because it's not your child. Because if anything goes wrong, trust me, indirectly, it might still come back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you see a child doing wrong and gets into trouble, as a human being, you feel, and you know you're supposed to correct that child, and that didn't happen. Somehow you feel it. You feel like, okay, I think I didn't do the right thing. So right now, our goal is to reach out to young people more. We have to start with young people before we can talk about preventing crime or going to the prison. Yeah, we'll go to the prison, we do all that. But I think the right thing is to start with these young ones from high school, talk to them, tell them consequences of their actions, make them accountable for everything they do. Make sure that they know what they have to do. They do the right thing. And when they are maybe down or feeling some type of way, they have the right people to talk to. They have right friends. They should make sure they keep good friends around them. And if they have issues, they can talk to the right authorities about it. So I think that's where we have to start. If we have to go further in talking about crime prevention, we have to start with the young ones, especially in schools.
I believe,
What do you think?
I think that's what I would say. That's what really attracted myself to come join your board of directors, was that it does start in the youth, and we will have a much bigger impact because, like, what we want to do is try to start breaking trends. And it's not to say that, like, okay, we're just going to give up on the adults. No, it's like we're still wanting to provide as much support as we can to adults, but then also it's like, okay, at one point do we start working on the trends and start breaking down the trends and start like, okay, now we want to see these percentage of these trends going down and start having a bigger positive influence on these kids. And I believe starting at that high school, the junior high and the high school, and teach them these things and having that discussion, and then even to the point for them to really understand, the benefits. Like, okay, so this is what you can do. Let's bring in some role models. Like, hey, let's, if you do these things, these are the things that you can accomplish. But then also we see these great programs, especially like on in your different counties, where it's like they offer these youth who are troubled, the opportunity, like, to go into the jails, go into the prisons, and for them to experience, and they get more or less like a mentored from these the prisoners in regards to, like, hey, you do not want to end up like me in here in this prison. This is what I'm having to do to survive. These are the things that I'm going to do just to be able to have a life inside this prison. And so they try to be a little bit harder on them, these troubled kids already, but then they also give them a real life look onto this is what life is actually like behind prison. And these programs are really great because it's like, okay, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like this guy. I don't want to be stuck into this situation. I don't want to be stuck in this environment where I feel like I have to literally struggle to survive, not just, any time, every single day you wake up, and then you have to wonder like, well, what's going to happen to me when I sleep? What's going to happen, next day? And it's day in and day out. And so touching the heart of that youth, the troubled and the non-troubled, and just showing them like, hey, you don't have to be like this, because as life goes on and as life, as you grow, you're going to have new friends, you're going to grow, you're going to have more opportunities, and you're going to have better chances at success on whatever you as a person and as an individual determine what your success looks like. You have a better chance if you stay, on this side of the track, right? Like if you start committing these crimes, and if you start doing these things, then it's like there's no hope. Like we've seen in some cases these past few months where, some of these, the youth and then the young adults, young men, it's just like it's like, that's all they're going to know now for 20, 30, 40 years. And it's like, we don't want that. It's like, we want you to be able to go out and contribute to society and provide for yourself, provide for your family. And I really believe in touching that youth and helping them see like, hey, if I do these things, this is where I may or may not going to end up.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your input and discussion so far. The last thing I would say is I wish the authorities would actually imbibe summer training. That's an anger management class. If it can be introduced to schools, I think that will go a whole long way, that they can actually manage their temperament properly. Because the most issue going on, it comes with communication, emotional intelligence, what to look out for, what to do if this child is actually doing this. So you stay away from trouble. So I think that would really help. I think.
I would love to see, especially, and you really brought up a great point, because summertime is a perfect time for kids to get in trouble, but then the summertime is also a perfect time for kids to learn and grow. And so to follow up on that specifically, I would love to see more programs by police departments, sheriff's departments, maybe even programs with the state, with the state troopers and whoever your state police is. I would love to see programs where they can go into a training for a week, for let's say 3 or 4 hours, and they get to go do these different things and learn these different things.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're being fed education. And it's like, well, because this is just not about, preventing crime. We're like, hey, don't do crime. Like, no, it's like they learn to get behind the scenes of what exactly it takes to be a cop. They get to learn, actual laws, regulations that we all have to, as humans, that we also have to abide by. And then they get to have some fun. They get to get some cool gear, and then they get to learn things, and then they get the opportunity to mature up. And then, while also they're being taught like, hey, these are the things that you don't do, and this is why. And so I would love to really see, especially during the summertime, these programs by police departments where kids can go into every day for 4 days or 5 days.
Yeah, this one is the summer training. It's just 3 days.
Okay.
They do summer 1, 2, 3. It's just 3 days. They do the first one the first day, do the second one on the second day. Then the third one, you have to do practicals to be sure that you actually understand it, and that's it.
And we want to make sure that we do that within, the junior high to high school
High
range.
school,
Yes.
high school, because they are transitioning into college, and that's the right time to get.
And have different levels, compared to like, okay, well, if you're in ninth grade, you need to learn a little bit something different. But if you're going into a senior year, it's like, okay, so like, hey, what if I want to be a cop? Like, okay, well, that training is going to look a little bit different. Maybe some type of after school programs with high schools where the police department or the state, They come in like, hey, we are going to help you. If you want to be a cop, you may still have to go get, 80 or 60 college credit hours,
Yeah.
but you get actual training like, hey, we have the ROTC. Well, in high school, you have the junior ROTC for people who are interested in the military. Why can't we do the same with police departments? Like, hey, I want to join my local police department when I graduate. Start them young
Yeah.
in high school and then allow them to continue to join every year. So they still get that, they get the leadership, they get that knowledge, that training, the discipline.
Yeah.
And then also it gets them a leg up, when they do go to college or when they do go to a police academy, it gets them leg ups like, hey, maybe this day is going to be a little bit easier during the police academy because I'm already prepared for it. And I would love to really see something similar to like the junior ROTC be put into these larger schools where they can get this education and training, but then also you see in the work that's being done, like, hey, let's not commit crimes. Let's work on our emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it gives, the opportunity like, hey, if this is something for me, then great. Like, okay, well, now I can pursue this as a career because I have a pretty good idea of what to do compared to like, okay, well, may not be for me. It's like, okay, well, at least you gave it a shot, but you still grew, you still earned leadership attributes, you still grown as a person and matured as a person, especially as you mentioned, which is I think we're really missing is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
It's going to really help you mature and really make better decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the right way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. To find me, I would want you to go to Maureen Joseph Care and Support Foundation on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, to find us on the web, to check our website. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless.